Now let's talk a little bit about how Kevin does his JavaScript or front-end development. Now we have a lot of different things going on, so we're going to go through this relatively quickly. But there are three primary things that Kevin uses this for on a daily basis. One, he's using the Acquia Commerce framework to power the e-commerce integration that he uses within the website. Two, he's using JavaScript web components that he can easily create and inject into the site so that they can be assembled with other content easily with the low-code tools. And three, Kevin is able to take advantage of the APIs that are built into the system so that he can access content and data and use it in his applications. Let's take a look. When it comes to the commerce framework, it's broken up into two pieces. The backend integration allows the CMS to pull data in from the e-commerce platform. This is anything that's cacheable and going to be relatively unchanging. This means that the business user can control the entire experience. The designer can control the templates and the themes, and the caching layer and the CDN built into the CMS are going to make sure that that data is received quickly and is served out efficiently. Using the Purge integration, you're going to get real-time updates by making sure that when that data is updated, the new stuff is going to be seen. And as a general rule, we want to push as much as possible into the cache for performance reasons. Now, of course, not everything is cacheable. Some things are transactional. Things like live data, such as the current quantity, the stock and inventory, the current price may change often, anything transactional like actually doing a checkout or purchase, and anything personalized like my cart, my wish list. Things that are transactional and non-cacheable are handled with web components using API services. Now, these web components are exposed in the system as blocks so that the business user can still control and place them as necessary. So we haven't lost that ability to assemble in a low-code environment. However, these web components are communicating with the e-commerce platform directly through the browser, so we don't have to worry about the CMS becoming a proxy or a bottleneck. This is a hybrid decoupled integration and provides us with a ton of benefits over a purely decoupled integration. We also have some different mechanisms for doing optional edge-side rendering if we need to do things like server-side rendering or SEO performance improvements. Generally speaking, we want to limit the number of front-end integrations that are happening in the client so that we can have really great performance. So what does this look like? Here we can see a wireframe of what would be a typical or standard e-commerce system. Everything that's listed in white is something that is managed and created within the CMS, typically using the low-code tools. Things that you see that are in blue are things that are going to be personalized. That's going to be unique to the user using a personalized service that's included in the platform. The items that are pink are going to be those web components. These are things that are transactional, that are personal, or that deal with that integration at the client-side level. Everything else is managed using the low-code tools within the system. The great thing about this is you can also use Acquia Search to power the entire catalog, and you don't lose any of the functionality, any of the tools that come built into the system. So how do those web components work? Well, there's a module in the CMS called the component module. What it does is it allows a JavaScript developer to write a simple YAML file, as the one you see here. This allows that component to be auto-discovered and imported into the system without any extra work. The great thing about this is that once that happens, it's available in the system just like anything else. So for the site builder, for the business user, they can use these components just like they would with everything else. Assembling these, you get the idea of composable commerce. So you have the ability to take these components and put them together. Here you can see that we're seeing the cart page with all of these different components. They're rendered on the front end and they communicate with each other. And the CMS is simply responsible for the styling and placement of these components, creating a true composable experience. The net result is a beautiful experience that's controlled through the UI without having to deploy code. Now, because Acquia CMS is API first, it offers a ton of options for these developers on how they want to interact and use these APIs. For example, JSON API support is provided in the core of the CMS out of the box. Nothing extra needs to be done. And there are numerous SDKs and libraries available to take advantage of this common industry standard. Secondly, for developers that would choose and prefer to use something like GraphQL, there's a massive ecosystem of GraphQL modules and enhancements that work together, including sample apps and code to help you get going quickly. These can be turned on and integrated in a moment without any additional work. And then finally, there are a number of different options for creating custom REST endpoints, including a no-code version built into the system itself. There's a UI for the creation and management of customizable endpoints that provide everything that you need for the no-code options. All of these things together mean that Kevin is able to create the JavaScript web components, deal with the hybrid integration, and he knows he can always access the data using any of these API features that are available to him.